Oh. Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. At the end of chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, the last value that Sri Krishna shares with all of us is stiramatihi, which means to be steady. And a practice in being steady is trying again. So we're going to try again with our Prithvi Utsava invitation.
Namaskar, this is Shankar Mahadevan, and I'd like to congratulate the Prithvi Seva Sangha for the efforts that they take towards preservation and conservation of Mother Nature. We all should respect Mother Nature because she gives us unconditionally. So here are two lines from the song Dharti Ma Pranam, dedicated to Mother Nature. Dharti Ma Pranam, Dharti Ma Pranam.
I'm making a change in my lifestyle to help the environment. Will you?
We can and we must.
We can and we must. I am committed to make a change.
We can and we must. We can and we must.
I'm making a change.
We can and we must.
We can and we must. And remember, there's no planet B.
To celebrate our inspiration, we are organizing and gathering for a Prithvi Utsava, a festival to be even more inspired to live for our earth. We will be inspired by world-class acharyas and activists and artists. Please register for this celebration. Invite your family, your friends, and I'll see you soon.
Dharti Ma Pranam.
On Sunday, July 16th, in the evening, we have a Volunteers Appreciation Hangout. I serve with around 200 seekers. There's around 200 seekers who are actively contributing to our community, and I give them a very hard time. But I do this so that they're careful. When we treat our trust triangle casually, when we make this social, all that we nurture is a sattvic ego. And I know what that feels like, which is why I encourage this stiramatihi. Try again, try again, try again. I just completed a meeting with United Consciousness. The meeting is going on right now. I had to leave to be with all of you. And we were discussing the word activists. All of us are infinity activists. We're trying to be active with following infinity, facilitating infinity. So I'm describing you as this, but how do you know if you're actually following and facilitating? All that you do is oriented towards oneness. Now that's still abstract, so how do we make this more clear? All that you do is oriented towards equality. Now that too may be abstract for some. So here, I can't go lower, okay? I'm going to stop. All that you do is oriented towards acceptance. Accepting yourself, accepting all beings, that their nature is equal, their nature is of oneness. Verse 1 and verse 2. In these teachings, Sri Krishna is offering us a carrot, that if we listen to what he's sharing, this jnana, our carrot will be no more dejection, becoming, anxiety, stress. But if you don't listen, if you don't take the carrot, then naturally what comes is the stick. That starts to develop in verse 3, where Sri Krishna describes being born. Being born means you will only experience relativity, a relative happiness, which means a dependent happiness. Verse 1 and 2, not being born. That means you're experiencing an absolute happiness, an independent joy. Chapter 14 has the technical theme of guna, traya, vibhaga, yoga. The qualities that are three in nature, they're different. The yoga or the teaching related to this. This becomes more evident in verse 3, where Sri Krishna shares, Mama yoni mahat brahma. Distilling this, Maya or relativity has facilitated creation. Second quarter. Tasmin garbam dadamyaha. If there's Maya, there has to be a Maya Pati. The Maya Pati is the creator. Maya's creation, Maya Pati's creator. Sambhavaha sarva bhutana. In the third quarter, here Sri Krishna is showcasing the fall from creator to creation to gunas, which is creatures. See, there's one creation, but within creation, there's so much vibhaga, there are so many differences. That's symbolic for creatures. You're a creature, I'm a creature. For those who are students of Vedanta and Bhagavata, this was really clear right from the start of Bhagavata. It is fundamental creation that is facilitated by Bhagavan Narayana, and it is functional creation that is facilitated by Bhagavan Brahma. The same teaching is shared here, but in a condensed way, which is why I've encouraged all of you to study Bhagavad Gita. You first have to be ready through Bhagavata. I feel for some thus far, this is a little bit complex, even though this chapter is very practical. If I can offer one message from these first 3 verses, it is the more quiet you become, the more deep you become. That's why I encourage all of you to be part of our silence retreats. You go from quietude to stillness to silence. In silence, all is conspicuous. I'm reading to an insight from Pujya Swami Chinmayananda before we continue. The joys and sorrows belonging to one plane of consciousness cannot stretch their arms to throttle us in another plane of consciousness. Which means if you become silent, all that disturbs you, the vyata, will not disturb you. One more insight before we go to verse 4. This word, dadami, that it is the base for the last part of samadhi. The word samadhi, the last portion of it, that's the same base, dadami, it means to give. Bhagavan Narayana has given himself. Given himself, he is the creator through creation, through creatures. We are to engage in samadhi to give up our ego. Verse 4 is the exact same as verse 3, just shared differently. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahadyonihi aham bija pradav pita. Joy. I'm reading the translation to you. The most important word is pita. Whatever forms are produced, O Kaunteya, in all the wombs whatsoever, the great Brahma is their womb, and I, the seed-giving Father. Shri Krishna is the cause, Bhagavan Brahma is the effect, and we are a further effect. What is being encouraged as the introduction to this chapter is for everyone to try to practice being more authentic and deep. Sociologists have shared the primary qualities that we are drawn to in another person is their authenticity and depth. Prince Arjuna comes into the Bhagavad Gita where he feels he's Prince Arjuna. But the more he inquires and he practices authenticity and depth, he is not the doer. It is Shri Krishna who's the doer. But the finality of authenticity and depth is where Prince Arjuna becomes Shri Krishna. The individuality and divinity become one. That is infinity. Let me share this in a different way. So many corporations, so many organizations have a DEI department wing. If you follow this notion of authenticity and depth, diversity, more authentically and deep, is equality. And more authentic and deep than that is inclusivity or infinity, oneness. All of this can be felt by becoming more sattvic. This chapter is about the gunas or qualities to have the quality of quietness. I'm always fascinated, and I fail to understand this. I interact with a lot of people, and how people can be bored. And even those who don't say that they're bored, but they always need to do something. They need to go somewhere, they need to eat something, they need to say something. That's the same as being bored. When you have any time, read, write, and reflect. That's what sattva is. Needing to go, to eat, to talk. that default is rajas. But we justify it that I'm doing this in the name of studying or serving. But it's just the ego being displaced. One final, very practical thought as Sri Krishna begins elaborating about these qualities. Our e-newsletter goes to around 2,000 seekers. That includes all of you. This month's e-newsletter theme was Beyond Independence Day to Independence Month. How many of you read this? In this e-newsletter, we put a very special request for all of you that our community wants to do more to make our society safe. We want to do more, and we asked people who are passionate about this to give us their names and email addresses. I'm sharing this because if you know that we are all on the same team, we come from the same source, the way that you care for yourself, you will care for others. There's many creatures, but there's only one creation, one creator, one consciousness. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was to register and invite your family, friends, all to our Prithvi Utsava. I requested you to invite 4 seekers. You know, we've been together now for 1,005 mornings. You can't just be a participator anymore. The evolution of a participator is to be a facilitator, where you act as an ambassador that you've benefited so much. Now you're facilitating the same for others. I hope that you followed this application of registering and inviting. Your application for this morning that very much relates to our Prithvi Utsava. July is a special month in Bharatiya culture because all of us as students, as disciples, we're only students, we're only disciples because of our guide. And in July, we celebrate Vyasa Purnima or Guru Purnima. Our whole lives, we've expected gifts for ourselves, but when you become a student, a disciple, you don't spend money on yourself. You offer this to your trust triangle. And so, I am requesting all of you to give to that which keeps on giving, which is our earth. On Sunday, July 16th morning, I hope our community will complete raising $25,000 for the Rainforest Foundation. We've only raised $5,800 right now, which is quite startling to me. So now we have less than 10 days to bring this up to $25,000. We're going to complete chapter 14, chapter 15 in this semester. Offer your dana in advance. For this most important celebration, let us push the envelope. Let us apply ourselves. Give to Rishi Vyasa, in my case, to give to Pujya Swami Tejo Mayananda, who's also essentially born in July. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene. Be joyous.